Let's head straight into Wayne Goldsmith, of course, international sports coach, a man who has influenced the coaching, thinking and teaching of some of the world's leading athletes, coaches and teams. Good morning, Wayne.
Good morning, guys. How are you this morning?
Good. Thanks, Wayne. Great to have you on the program. Wayne, one of the things I meant to ask you last week was in a lot of the community sports now, they're being umpired by particularly young boys, might be 14, 15, 16 in order to earn some pocket money. The role of the coach and parents, it can be pretty easy to bully them. How do you see that? And is that one of the challenges going forward, where we don't seem to have an adult in a lot of cases, umpiring or adjudicating junior sport?
Well, on a personal level, Kim, I love it because it means I don't have to pay my 15-year-old any pocket money. He's a junior football referee.
Yeah.
And he gets 2 or 3 games. He runs around herding cats, which is basically working with the under-8s.
Yep.
And the team that he's associated with, the club that he's associated with, is a licensed club. And it's funny because at the end of the game, they come down from the club with a big bucket of poker machine money, $1 and $2 coins, and they pay out all the junior refs in $1 and $2 coins. Oh, it's a crazy thing. But yeah, look, on the serious side of it, that on the weekend I was actually watching a junior football game again, and as always, I get some great ideas and material watching there. And they were watching some under-12s play, and there was a line of parents, that tribe of parents that we see on the sideline that hate and despise all the other tribes that other teams have got. And it was interesting that when their kids had the ball, it was, go John, go Wayne, go Kim, go Nick there. It was all very positive. But as soon as there was a mistake, it was, oh, come on, ref, referee both sides, have a go, ref. And I looked out, and the kid in the middle would have been lucky to be 15 or 16.
Yep.
So it's important they support those young referees. The referees do get training. There's compulsory referee training, obviously, and umpire training across the country. But, I have concerns not in the ability of those young kids to do the job. I do have concerns. I share your concerns about the bullying and the intimidation from the sideline they get. I think it's completely uncalled for.
Yeah.
What, from a coaching point of view then, how strong do you go at the kids if they argue with the ref? I mean, I know there's going to be pressure from parents and you've got to keep that away, but how do you approach the kids on it?
I think pre-season, Wayne, particularly, you've got to have a discussion with the parents and the kids and keep it very, very simple. But say, guys, I live by 3 rules in my team. If you want to be part of this team, and I love you being here, it's going to be great, looking forward to the season. But there's 3 things that are non-negotiable. 1, respect at all times for parents, for coaches, for referees and your opposition. 2, we're all about we and not me. We're about sharing. We're about being selfless. Everyone will have to play a role that maybe they do and don't like at different times to contribute to the success of the team. And 3, we're going to have a great time. We're really going to enjoy what they're doing. So I think young coaches have got to say at the beginning of the season, these are my philosophy. This is what I believe. These are non-negotiable. The way we play and where you play and what you eat, and do we have oranges at half-time? I don't really care all that much about that. But, guys, if you're going to work with me, you're going to be part of this team. It's respect at all times for these people. And if I see you demonstrating a lack of respect, for example, yelling at an umpire, being abusive to a parent of the opposition team, being violent and aggressive towards an opposition team member or your own team members, as happens from time to time, as we know, then you'll be exempted from that game or you'll be taken off or something like that. They've got to make it really clear what the rules of the team are and what the potential consequences might be for demonstrating a lack of respect.
I think those 3, 1, they're simple, but absolutely crucial, Wayne. I think that's a fantastic point for a lot of our parents or grandparents out there, and they can play a significant role as well, because often they've got more time, to get down there and support their young grandsons, granddaughters, and they're all old school because of their age, but they're important. That, Wayne, to keep it a balancing act, you know, when you think that, you know, all the important things in life, they go to school, and some of them, fortunate ones, go to a private school, and that can create challenges, their sport and their family, friendships, and having also some rest or downtime, a balance and that sort of thing. What are some of the little pearls that you could give to our listeners out there today?
Well, the bottom line with balance, and let's talk about the top end. As you guys know, being former elite athletes and professional athletes, the concept of balance is very, very difficult. As an elite level athlete, we talk about it, and it's very, very challenging because, as you know, you're lying on the beach, supposed to be having a day off, and you're thinking about footy, or you're thinking about a shot you should have played or not played, or you're thinking about the next training session. And so I don't know whether balance exists as a professional, but that's different. That's their life, that's their future, that's their career. That's completely different. You're exactly right. For kids, it's highly unlikely that the 10-year-old swimmer will be a swimmer for the rest of their life. It's really unlikely that the 8-year-old netballer will be a netballer for the rest of their life. What they will be is parents. They'll be grown-ups. They'll be university students. They'll be business owners. They'll be members of the community. They'll be partners. They'll be friends. They'll be all those things for absolute certain, but they'll probably not be netballer or a swimmer or footy player for the rest of their life. It makes sense then to prepare them for the rest of their life as the priority, not for their sporting life. And what I mean by that is, if parents and coaches focus on building values and virtues and character and qualities such as independence and responsibility and accountability and all those qualities, they're setting them up for a successful life in study and as a partner and as a friend and a student, business owner, and so on and so on. Those qualities and those characteristics will also make them fantastic in sport. It'll give them the qualities and the capacities that they need to be successful at whatever they do in sport. I think where parents get it wrong is they go, wow, Johnny just hit 26 fours in a row. I can't believe how talented they are, and the kid's 9. Let's put everything into the cricket basket. Everything's based on cricket. We're going to do cricket seminars. We're going to play indoor cricket during the off-season. I'm going to make him sleep with his bat and give it a name. Cricket from 9, and that might make him an outstanding cricketer at 9, 10 and 11, but it's not doing anything to help them prepare for success and balance and happiness in the rest of their life. So they've got to turn it on their edge, prepare them to be outstanding human beings and wonderful members of the community and great dads and mums and great friends, and that will flow into sport. Don't put sport first.
Yep, some wise words. There's a fantastic quote which I'd love to put on every primary school and every high school, every business, and it goes like, and it's from Michael Jordan, and you've mostly heard of it, but it says, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." And that is where sport and great coaches and great parents and that sort of thing can teach those kids that, yeah, we got beaten today, but gee, you gave your best, all those sorts of things. Well, that is just an unbelievable quote from maybe one of the greatest athletes of all time.
It is fantastic, isn't it, when you think of it? But isn't it a hard moment, Kim? Isn't it that is one of the toughest moments to face as a parent? And we talked about it when we talked about winning and losing. It's such a tough moment when those eyes are looking up. There's tears running down the face because, you know, they've missed a goal in the under-6s and they're absolutely shattered and just like the end of the, and you want to make them feel better and you want to pick them up and hug them and try and turn it all around. And, of course, there's an element of that in it with really young kids. But it's also a great opportunity to teach some lessons. What we've got to be careful of, I think, as mums and dads, is preaching, because we know certainly, you know, kids up to about 8, 9, 10, 11, they'll sit there and they'll listen and they'll nod, and I think you can make a bit of an impact on them. Once they get the 13, you know, the terrible 12s and the atrocious 13, 14, 15, 16, they're so peer-focused and anti-mum and dad that the more preaching you do, particularly anywhere near their teammates, the more pushback you're going to get. You've really got to pick your time and keep it simple. I say to mums and dads, look, I know you're desperate. The words are just coming up in your mouth and you're desperate to say you should have taken that shot or you should have used your left hand or why did... I know you're desperate to do that, but you've got to pick your moment. You've got to keep it really simple and try not to preach, particularly with teenagers, because they will revolt and they'll push back the other way.
Yep. Wayne, just to finish off, a short and sharp one. The use, we often hear it today, particularly for those who are maybe 15, 16, 17, 18, we hear sports saying the pathway. It's the cricket pathway or the pathway to success. How do you feel about the use of the word pathway? Is there another word that they could use? Because to me, it conjures up the feeling, well, now you're on this, it's the golden brick road or whatever it is. We're going to get there. And it's the furthest thing from the truth.
How many hours did you say we've got?
Maybe think about that for next week, possibly.
I'm very anti-pathway. And Jim, you've nailed it. The pathway, in theory, was a great idea. Let's get kids in at 8 or 9 and teach them basic skills. 10, 11, 12, teach them how to train a bit. 13, 14, 15, teach them how to be competitive and look after their body. You know, and it was a logical sequence we all thought of development from young kids. What we know, though, and I was talking to a guy last week from KPMG who's doing a research project at the moment with one of the Australian sports. And his words were, this guy, great guy, very, very experienced guy in strategic planning and management, but has no understanding of sport, but a very, very smart guy from outside the industry. And he's been doing this review of one of the sports for about 6 months, and he said, Wayne, I think most of the problems sport is experiencing at the moment is because of this pathway model. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, what it's basically saying, and the way that parents have interpreted and coaches have interpreted is that everyone who picks up a cricket bat is going to play for the Australian senior team. Everybody who picks up a footy is going to play for Hawthorn. Everybody who jumps in a pool is going to be Michael Phelps. And it's completely wrong because we've shaped the entire sports experience around turning these kids into elites. And I said, that's a pretty good point. And he had a great line. He said, it's almost like assuming every kid who starts kindergarten is going to be an orthopaedic surgeon and then shaping every part of education through primary school, secondary school, right through to university around orthopaedic surgery. He said, it doesn't make any sense. And I think it's one of the big factors that's really hurting sport at the moment. He's a pretty smart guy. I would tend to listen to him.
Yep. Good on you, Wayne. Thank you.
Let's talk
My
again.
pleasure, guys.
We appreciate your input every week, Wayne, and we'll catch you next week.
Looking forward to it. Have a great week.
Thanks, buddy. Wayne Goldsmith. What an incredible man. He's worked with the United States Olympic Committee, the Roosters, Tennis Australia, Rugby Australia, Swimming South Africa. The list goes on and on and on. He's a very accomplished man.
And what we'd love to hear for our listeners out there, granddads, grandmas, parents, siblings, whatever it happens to be, is if they've got some questions, they could text us for next week. He's regular. He's fantastic. So, put your thinking caps on for whatever sport you're involved in. But his value his main is to help develop kids into good adults with good qualities, resilience and, teamwork, all those wonderful qualities.